Everyone. Thank you for being here on this most auspicious occasion. We're going to start with a little offering for our dear Acharya Dev, courtesy of Krishna Priya, Devi Dasi, and friends in North Carolina.
Oh, Krishna Priya.
Jai Acharya Dev.
Jai Acharya Dev.
Gaya
Hare Krishna. So,
Hare
Shri, we're so honored to be with you today. on this most glorious Vyasa Puja. It's hard to believe. It's the 74th. When I first celebrated your Vyasa Puja, it was the 29th, and you haven't changed a bit.
Totally imperceptible. Oh, by the way, who was singing just now?
Well, that's what I wanted everyone to introduce. It's your old friend, Maha Mantra Prabhu. He's come back from being exiled.
I thought that was Mahamantra, but I thought he was in Bolivia.
Yes,
Welcome back, Mahamantra.
thank you. Just came back 2 weeks ago. Well, 10 days ago. Thank you.
Bienvenido.
Gracias, gracias.
So Maha Mantra is here. Leela Shakti is here. All the devotees should I'll just let the devotees all come up and say and wish their best to you on this most auspicious day.
Hare Krishna, Leela Shakti.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
You were the best hostess when I was there.
She's hosting again. That's what she's doing.
I wanted to make pizza in your honor. Hopefully you'll come back and eat it soon.
Okay, make sure no one eats it till I get there.
Okay.
Is that Gopal there?
Well, gee.
Gopalji.
Hi, Charity.
Hare
Hi.
Krishna.
And
Thank you all for coming.
Indulekha Priya is here. You initiated her in Gainesville a number of years ago.
I remember.
And
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
Hare Krishna, happy Vyasa Puja.
Thank you, thank you. Nice to see you.
and Kara is here. She's only seen you online when we did Charuni's memorial. She was online.
Hare Krishna.
And Adi Purusha is here. You know Adi Purusha.
Oh, the philosopher.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. He's an up and coming philosopher.
Lalita Chandra, your dearmost disciple.
Hare Krishna Shalacharya.
Hare Krishna. I just saw her a little while ago.
Yes.
And the background is Chintamani. She's been here for many years.
Hey, Chintamani.
Hare
Krishna.
Charity. And then your old friend, none other than Dayavir Das is here.
Hey, good old Dayavir.
And Gopal's wife, Krishna Priya.
Hare Krishna.
And Ishwara Chaitanya is sitting here. He is Leela Shakti's dear son, who you won't recognize because he's grown up.
Hey, Ishwara. Hare Krishna.
He was playing the bass.
He was playing the bass. He's a musician.
Oh, very good.
And then your meal is being cooked by Sundari,
Hare Krishna.
your oldest daughter.
Hare Krishna.
So I guess we've introduced everyone, isn't it?
Oh, I thought this way.
So we really want to thank you and let you really know that you've had actually such a large influence on our community over the years, more than you probably even realized, but you have really helped to shape and mold the consciousness and the preaching here in North Carolina. And have always been such a strong support and example for us of what it means to be a very dedicated disciple to your spiritual master. So I don't want to take everyone's time, but I'm extremely honored that we get to have this time with you today. Thank you for tolerating us.
We miss you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I owe you another visit, definitely.
We all, yeah, we're all missing you a lot.
We plan to collect. Like soon?
Yeah.
Actually, that's possible.
Yay. We'll let the program go on, but please let us know when you're ready. We'll make sure that we have pizza.
Oh, yes, yeah, that Leela Shakti's world famous pizza.
She can make vegan pizza too, so don't worry.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you so much. And thank you, Leela, for inviting us. Hare Krishna.
Hey, Jai.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for that offering. It was beautiful. Just one small announcement. If anyone has multiple devices open, I'm getting word that on Facebook they're hearing an echo. So just have one device, please. That would be helpful.
She can sit back here.
Thank you.
So I want to say welcome to everyone who's just joining us now. Welcome to Acharya Dev's 74th Vyasa Puja celebration.
Don't tell people how.
We are so pleased to have this opportunity to gather as disciples, friends, and well-wishers to honor our dear spiritual teacher and fearless cult leader.
The cult of Chaitanya.
Precisely that one. And now to offer words of gratitude for Acharya Dev's many decades of faithful service to Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna, we are beginning with a video offering from Shireen Devi, who has been a very faithful friend and well-wisher of Acharya Dev for many years. And so Leela will get us set up with the video, and I just want to remind everyone of Leela's announcement she made previously, just to keep your devices on mute and only join with one device so we can make sure there's a seamless streaming experience. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Jai Acharya Dev.
Jai Janya. Oh, there's Shireen.
Shanti, Hare Krishna, happy birthday, many, many happy returns of the day. May this day and the rest of the year and the rest of your life, and actually the rest of eternity, may you have one gorgeous moment after another. So, dear divine brother, I am so happy to be in your life because you really enrich everything you touch. There are a few things I thought that were your really amazing gifts. And one is that I was always very amazed, even when I first met you, and now I'm always very amazed by how you have this perfect balance of devotion and intellect, that you're not just intellectual, but you have this perfect balance of devotion and intellect. The next one, I'll only mention, you have many, many amazing gifts, but I'll only mention two in interest of time. And the next one is that you, because of the lifestyle, because of your purity, because of you being a sannyasi, because of your sweetness and your love, I feel that you uphold the world. I don't know if you realize this, but I can sense this, that you are a gift, and you're a gift because of your presence, you uphold the world. And so I'm very happy to be in your life. So Acharya Deva, happy birthday again. I hope this comes out fine, because I can't keep videoing this, because right now there are few people, but very soon there are many people, and then a lot of noise will start, because I'm here in our ashram in Mount Abu. So I'm very, very happy that you are celebrating your birthday, and happy birthday. Thank you. Om Shanti. Hare Krishna.
For those of you who don't know, that's Shireen. She's an important leader of the Brahma Kumari organization, and yeah, sister. She's like my sister. So, and then she was speaking from a mountainside in Rajasthan, India. So, Jenya.
Next, I will welcome our dear Brahmatirtha Prabhu for his offering.
Okay, Brahmatirtha Prabhu has deferred to Balavanta Prabhu and Amarendra Prabhu. So you may go ahead. Thanks, Brahmatirtha.
Oh, we can't hear you?
It's because it's muted. Okay, well, Hare Krishna. I'll try to be brief. I've known, I unfortunately did not know Howard Prabhu. I never met Howard Prabhu, but I first heard of Hridayananda Das Adhikari when he was the Sankirtan leader in Boston. And in those days, Boston was not a small temple. Boston was pretty much the heartbeat of ISKCON North America and ISKCON worldwide in those days. The ISKCON Press was there, you remember. So Los Angeles had not reached its heyday. So Hridayananda Das Adhikari was the Sankirtan leader in Boston and was famous already for his charisma. He had quite a bit of charisma and persuasive ability, little controversial. Some things don't change. He was a well-known personality, became famous fairly quickly. The president in Boston was Satsarup Das Adhikari, and he was also the GBC for the Southeast United States, which include New Orleans. The temples were small. Atlanta was there, and Gainesville was a preaching center, Tallahassee preaching center, New Orleans. And so Nityananda in New Orleans needed people, so he petitioned Satsarupa because there were no devotees there. Satsarupa sent Hridayananda Das Adhikari to be, he was going to actually, make the temple successful. But unfortunately, Nityananda wouldn't let anybody, Nityananda could not make anything successful. So Hridayananda Das Adhikari, he took that as his period of in the wilderness, like Arjuna and the Pandavas when they were, or Lord Ram when he was banished. So he faithfully, humbly accepted that service and was much admired for that. Never complained, did everything he was obligated to do. And then when Brahmananda and Gargamuni were sent to Pakistan, then Hridayananda Das Adhikari was sent to Gainesville, where he really began to shine. That's when his Shakti became well known and manifest. As soon as he got to Gainesville, many devotees joined because of his preaching, right, Amaranda? I mean, temple filled up very quickly. It was a extremely dynamic temple, well known, and people took note. Then he took a side trip to Atlanta, which I met him in New Orleans. It was Mardi Gras. That was 1971, I think.
Yeah, 71.
Mardi Gras. And then so he went to Gainesville in probably April, May of 1971. And then he came to Atlanta in July 1971. And I got married. And he and his then wife were present when I was married. And we had a festival in Piedmont Park, and he was preaching. Then we had the New Vrindavan Festival in August. And I remember seeing him surrounded by devotees. Wherever he would sit on the side of a hill and preach. He was extremely dynamic, very persuasive, very charismatic preacher, and always surrounded by many, many, many devotees who were enlivened to hear his preaching, enthusiastic preaching. It was really great. And then he took sannyas. He went to Houston. From there, was also successful, took sannyas, was appointed to be GBC for South America, and was phenomenally successful all over South America. Helped develop that place into a dynamic Krishna conscious continent. It was really fantastic. By this time, he's Hridayananda Das Goswami. And then when Prabhupada was preparing to leave, he appointed Hridayananda Das Goswami to take responsibility as one of the gurus for the Hare Krishna movement. And he is now Acharya Dev. And I can say that he's fulfilled his responsibilities more than admirably. I mean, he's dedicated to Prabhupada. He's faithful, totally faithful, 100% faithful to Prabhupada, but without giving up his personal initiative, his personal integrity, his personal intellectual convictions, within the universe that Prabhupada created, but he maintains his personality, which is extremely impressive. So in conclusion, I would say that basically he's the California incarnation.
You developed a song in honor of
Yeah,
that.
and so I can give him full credit because I got to give some credit to California. So in fact, if all the gurus could be California guys,
Yeah.
then things would be much better. So in conclusion, I just want to say, I wish
Sing.
they all could be California gurus. I've been around this great big world and I've seen all kinds of gurus, but I couldn't wait to get back to the States, back to the best guru in the world. Wish they all could be California gurus. So thank you so much, Maharaj, Acharya Dev, for all you've done for all of us, all you've done for the Hare Krishna movement, and all you've done for Prabhupada. You're faithful, 100%, and I'm sure that Prabhupada and Krishna are recognizing what you're doing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I have to say a few words about Balavanta. I think we call that technically retribution. But anyway, thank you very much. And I did first meet Balavanta. I still remember. I remember very clearly. We had in the little New Orleans temple where he very accurately depicted my situation. And there was a closet. I mean, it was like a little duplex and we had half of it. And so there was a closet between the living room and the kitchen. And I made a library out of that closet. And I remember I was showing Balavanta
I remember that
library. Yeah. And because we were the same age and, similar educational background and so on. And so we became friends immediately.
Yep.
As soon as we met, we became friends. And of course, we're still friends. And Balavanta was the leader of a project that was very dear to Srila Prabhupada, the In God We Trust Party. Prabhupada thought that if we had a Krishna conscious political party, we could begin to shape what was going on. And of course, Amarendra was sitting next to Balavanta. He's very shy, so you can't see him. But Balavanta and Amarendra did extraordinary devotional service. Balavanta ran for mayor of Atlanta and got, I think, more votes than any other devotee candidate in history in the Western world. So much so that Prabhupada said he should be the president of the United States. Balavanta also, he came from a very prestigious university, Emory University in Atlanta. He was very educated. He joined the Atlanta Temple, and after a short time was president of the Atlanta Temple, then became GBC. He purchased Murari Sevak, a beautiful farm which still exists, and was for a long time legal minister of ISKCON and a very respected member of the GBC. He's also been a pioneer in devotee sort of farming. Sort of a gentleman farmer. He's the quintessential gentleman farmer. And yeah, he owns a beautiful property in Latchwin. He's actually been a leader in showing how devotees can produce food, and very successful career as a lawyer and a lifelong friend. So I'm very grateful that he's here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. And Balavi, my wife, also says to tell you happy birthday.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Who is that handsome young man next to you?
That is Indra, King of Heaven.
Amarendra.
Well, I thought I was in a separate category here. That everybody else is over here and Amarendra is way over here. That I thought I had known you the longest of anybody else, but I think Balabanta, if he met you in New Orleans when Nico was there, then he probably beat me by a month or two. Because you came here in 1971 when we were all in Maya and things were falling apart. And because of me being in Maya, Seth Rupa Maharaj sent you here, and you were the first real temple president. And I can say one thing is that everything I learned in Krishna consciousness and everything that I carry with me today all came from when you were the president here. Your classes, your preaching, you were just studying Sanskrit for the first time, so you'd walk around all day just chanting Sanskrit slokas, and everybody would just kind of look at you and figure, who is that guy? What planet is he from? And we're always thinking of learning Sanskrit so we could communicate with you. But it was a little too difficult to do that. But you certainly imbued us all with Prabhupada and Krishna in our hearts. And that is a permanent presence that I owe to you from that time that we were first together, which was over 50 years ago, which I hate to use that word, but it was over 50 years ago. And of course, we have special pastimes that cannot be shared in mixed company. Our gumption walks at UCLA, looking for carob trees and butterflies. Our walks in Beverlywood, where you grew up, and Beverly Hills and Cheviot Hills, all those different places around the Los Angeles area. I know everybody that you went to high school with. I know well, I can't mention certain things about certain people, but other relationships that you had in high school as well and in college. And I can literally say that if it wasn't for you, I would not be here right now. In spite of everything else, you were the one person, and your one great quality that people don't really understand or appreciate, they do probably, is your generosity. That whenever a devotee is in need of something, you reciprocate, whatever it may be, preaching, even financially, in so many different ways. And with everything that I have gone through over the last 50 years, some of the projects that I have been involved with that were not pretty, that were challenging and stressful, no matter what the situation, you have always been my friend, no matter what. So that's a pretty big accomplishment to stay friends with me for that long of a time. And I mean that sincerely. Although usually when we go on our walks, we don't talk about sincere things, we talk about other things. But I can say this last thing, is that your name, Hridayananda, actually fits your personality quite accurately. The Prabhupada knew exactly what he was doing when he gave you that name. Because it means ecstasy in the heart, or ecstasy from the heart. I'm sure you have a literal Sanskrit alternative definition of your name, but the vernacular was that it was ecstasy within the heart. And when we would walk, and still to this day, many devotees don't understand our particular unique relationship, but we tell jokes and joke around and things of that sort. And the reason I do that mostly is because when you laugh, the infectious enthusiasm and happiness that comes from seeing you laughing, no matter what I'm going through or what kind of a mood I'm in, it would always just put me on another level to hear you laugh. So many times I would simply try to come up with a joke just to hear you laugh, because you have this incredible sense of humor that
Thank you. I have to say a word about Amarendra. Amarendra, a few times actually, practically saved the Hare Krishna movement. And he was always a very enthusiastic preacher. After Jonestown, when we had all these anti-cult attacks against us, Amarendra he organized probably the best academic conference, ISKCON academic conference in the history of the movement. He brought together the leaders of law schools, all kinds of well-known professors who all spoke in favor of ISKCON. He not only did that, but he represented us. He was the lead lawyer legally in the Robin George case and that crazy Turley case. And so several times he actually saved the temples in North America. And so he's one of the, I hate to say it, but unsung heroes. You know, it's one of the unfortunate things of history. I think history will remember him, but he has done great service, just like Balavanta did. So yes, we always will be friends, and we'll have a competition, see who gets to speak at whose funeral. But anyway, so
I can't imagine a world with you not in it, so I have to go first.
I actually have never had that experience of a world without. So, you know, Ram Charita can explain that philosophically. So anyway, now, actually, another dear old friend is Mahavir, and so so these are three of my best friends in this world. So now, Mahavir, I'll get out of your way, unless you say something I don't like, and then I'll come back.
Hare Krishna. Well, I'm honored to have a front row seat here at Acharya Dev's birthday. I first met Acharya Dev in Gainesville. Amarendra had invited me to come up to Gainesville. I think probably
73.
No, before that.
72.
Earlier, yeah. I think 72. And I remember I went up to help him reopen Gainesville. And he told me, he says, hey, somebody's coming. You got to meet him. He's incredible. He speaks Sanskrit. And at that time, nobody in the movement knew Sanskrit or used Sanskrit in the classes. So we were kind of all excited. Maharaj was coming. And I remember I answered the door. He came late at night. And I remember the screen door that you came up on the side of the temple. And when the door opened, he was glowing, right? With that, just like Amarendra Prabhu was just saying, you know, with that infectious smile, happiness, right? And so I think it was I don't know, but shortly after in one of the classes, which were always brilliant and hilarious, right? I remember turning to Amarendra and saying, I'm going with him. And that's when it started, right, for me. Later, for many years, we traveled through South America. I had the fortune to be able to be with him in those early years, opening temples, printing books, distributing the books, solving problems in troubled temples from previous managements. those were really special times. I can remember just a few times. One day we spent a whole day riding horses
To the mountains.
through the mountains outside Brazil, looking for properties. And I mean, literally the whole day riding horses in the mountains. Another time, it was Balaram's appearance day.
Bahia.
Yeah, in Bahia. These are special times where we spent the whole day pegando jacaré, which is
Body surfing.
body surfing, right? And it was an amazing day because the waves were so perfect. For those who have body surfed, they lasted a very long time. They were perfect, and it just went on all day long.
The waves were actually like Balaram.
I know, and we just kept looking at each other after each ride, right? There was another time I was thinking about this morning, where it's one of those magic moments that a lot of us have experienced being devotees, right? And Maharaj was in a hurry to get somewhere. I think he was going back to Los Angeles, and he had to go through Peru. And so I was driving him to the airport. I think we got a flat tire. And so there was a little anxiety about making the flight. So we finally got to the airport. It was an international airport. We went up to the counter, and the lady told us, sorry, the flight's closed, the doors are shut. And in those days, you had to take a bus out to the plane and walk up the stairs, right? They didn't have the connecting jetway, right? So I don't know, I just grabbed the walkie-talkie from the lady, and
you said, hold that flight.
Yeah, and I don't know who I was talking to, right? Whether it was the pilot or somebody. I said, look, you've got to hold that flight. There's a very important religious leader. He's got to get to America. You got to let him get on the plane. So they did it. They put the stairs back down. They immediately rushed him out to the plane. And I literally saw him flying away while I was paying for his ticket. So, you know, those kinds of, I mean, there's so many stories, right, that we enjoyed traveling through Latin America. And for me, they were very special, and to this day. But I think besides these fun parts, what impresses me the most today, and which shows that Maharaj really is what a guru is supposed to be. He's carving a path in this time and place to move Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada's mission forward. He's pushing what he needs to push, even against a lot of resistance. There's always that temptation to not change, to just keep things the way they are. It's comfortable, and not make any adjustments or move. But we all know Srila Prabhupada, even when he came here in the beginning, he made adjustments to what they were doing in India and how things had been done for I don't know how long, but he had to adjust it for the West. He had to adjust his temples. He had to adjust the programs. He had to adjust the different numbers and the commitments that we had to make. And I think today, and as our Maharaj mentioned, 50 years, but with Srila Prabhupada, it's even more, 60, heading towards 70 years ago. It's a long time ago. The world is a much different place today, and there are a few things that need to be modified so we can deliver this message. And Acharya Dev has been leading that charge. He's been carving that pathway courageously, and it's having its effect. And I think as things move forward and into the future, it's going to have a much greater effect on Krishna consciousness for normal people, whether intellectually common. It's going to take its effect on the whole world, and it's needed. Anyways, Pada Bangs,
That means congratulations in
Yeah.
Portuguese.
Muitas felicidades e muitos anos de vida. And happy birthday.
Hare Krishna, thank you. I would just say about Mahavir, squeeze in.
Let me.
No, that's all right. Mahavir really opened the movement in Brazil. Prabhupada wanted us to open it. I wrote to Prabhupada, and Mahavir actually flew down. He was like almost like parachuted into Brazil. In those days, we wouldn't worry about silly material considerations like actually bringing money with you or knowing where you were going or who you were going to deal with. Okay. So Mahavir went there. He opened the first temple, and literally almost overnight, within a few weeks, he had a beautiful house that he was renting near the University of São Paulo, Butantã. He was making devotees like anything, organized the first Sankirtan parties, and printed the first books, because Prabhupada had told me, if you want to go to Brazil, you have to distribute books, which meant first creating books in Portuguese. So Mahavir established the Brazilian BBT, printed the first books, made all the first devotees, opened the first center, helped to open other centers. So he really was a pioneer. Also in other places like Puerto Rico, he was, I would just send him before he went to Brazil. I remember one time he sort of like fly into places and put out fires in Latin America. One time he landed in the airport and I had to send a message, no, get on another plane, you have to go to another country. And so also another thing I just wanted to mention very quickly, how Amarendra not only saved ISKCON, but it practically saved my life one time. And that is when Prabhupada left 1978, I had traveled all around Latin America, 77. I traveled all around Latin America in 1977, about 4 times, gone to India 4 times. And by the time I came back from Prabhupada's disappearance ceremony, my health was just completely gone. I was actually in a very dangerous state of health. And I didn't reveal it to anyone because I didn't want that kind of attention. So I ended up in Gainesville in December, the beginning of December 77. Amarendra had a beautiful temple he'd acquired there, like how many acres of land? Is it
2.
2 acres of land, a little dormitory building, a beautiful old house. And Amarendra was one of the most successful temple presidents actually in the history of ISKCON, in terms of book distribution, prasadam distribution, distributing books. And he took care of me. No one could have taken care of me better. And actually I regained my health and revived my interest in actually going back to college and doing preaching at that level. So, and Balavanta also, I should mention, was not only the president of Atlanta, but actually one of the most successful temple presidents probably ever in ISKCON. They made dozens and dozens of devotees. They were always competitors in book distribution, bought a farm, beautiful deity worship. Prabhupada went there. And Prabhupada was pleased so much when Balavanta hosted him in Atlanta that Atlanta made it onto Prabhupada's short list of places to which he wanted to retire to write. And Balavanta also purchased what is still one of the most beautiful properties in the Western world, the Atlanta property. So I'd like to thank my godbrothers very much. And I'm really happy you guys could be here. So now,
Can I say one thing?
yes.
Never underestimate the medicinal benefits of hot buttered chapatis.
Yeah, Amarendra,
Cure anything.
he's a great cook, actually.
No, that was Gayatri, not me.
Gayatri. Well, she was a great cook. Go wrong with that. So thank you very much, Jenya.
Next, we have Brahmatirtha Prabhu.
Who? Do I know someone named Brahmatirtha?
I'm here. Well, first we will share something with you. Hopefully this will work. Well, it didn't quite work the way I had planned. Okay.
Right. And also we're streaming from the Bhaktivedanta Institute headquarters in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that didn't work. I actually have a picture here of you holding the umbrella over Prabhupada.
1971. I mean, I'll just briefly tell everybody that I accompanied Prabhupada to the plaza to give that lecture, and I was so much in awe of being with Prabhupada, I didn't notice it was drizzling. some little summer rains, my wife came up to me because she was actually more lucid. And she said, don't you think you should get an umbrella for Prabhupada? I ran and got an umbrella, and then I stood over Prabhupada, and then it stopped raining, but I thought, I'm not giving up this box. I had the best seat in the house. I was actually standing right next to Prabhupada. So even though it wasn't raining, I just stayed there with the umbrella for the whole lecture. So Brahmatirtha, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I do have that picture, but I can't show it. Okay, so a few points here and there. We talked about your charisma, but what was left out is your chutzpah, because without chutzpah, that charisma would not have done what it does. I think Taruni is agreeing with me.
For those who don't know Yiddish, chutzpah means kind of like being bold or audacious.
Oh, that's a nice way to do it. Oh, okay, exactly. So we have this combination of chutzpah and charisma. We'll go a little more. But we're referring to what happened in 1978. So I'll fill in a little more. Balavanta was my GBC in Houston. And at that point, the Radha Damodar took over the Houston Temple. Now, ISKCON then was very much like Major League Baseball. You were part of a team, and you couldn't leave the team until you were traded. We didn't have free agency, didn't exist, for those who know American baseball. So it was even considered practically blooping to leave your team. And so we had a zonal team, and all of a sudden Radha Damodar took over. And the Grahastas and the Brahmacharis in our temple finally united on one theme. We don't want to be here. And so they went to Balavanta's zone. Everyone but me. I was in the process of converting the first ISKCON temple into a Hindu mandir, and I had to continue that seva. So so everyone went to Houston at that time. Went to Florida to do the zones, and actually I really missed at that point my time with Balavanta. And when I made it back there a year later, I was very fortunate. There is I want to mention, before I forget, Bhakti can't be here now and is sending her respects. And Ritavajaswami was actually logged in, but then we were running late, and it's 10:30 in India, and he sent me a note. He apologizes, but he passed out. It's been a long day there. It's Prabhupada's disappearance.
The impressive thing is that he sent the note while he was passed out.
Well, just before.
It was recorded.
Exactly. Okay, so we'll go on. Each of us has our special contribution towards Prabhupada's movement. Occasionally, someone's contribution is more than special. It's unique, extraordinary, lasting, and disconcerting. And yes, disconcerting. It's so easy to turn off our intelligence and not probe deeper into the application of Krishna consciousness in our world. You are one of those rare devotees whose contribution is unique, extraordinary, lasting, and disconcerting. You challenge us to think, analyze, contemplate, and learn. And this is to me, a very important point, because it's so easy to get stuck in a groove. Prabhupada gave us two instructions: don't change anything and adjust time, place, and circumstance. And that paradox is a real challenge. And when you go head on into that paradox, it gives me clarity. I hate to think, with all the controversies that come up in ISKCON, if I didn't have your guidance, how would I deal with them? I just would have to end up a greater babbling idiot. Well, Prabhupada often stated the movement for the intelligent class. Intelligence means discrimination. that creates a quandary. If we're to discriminate, then we must even discriminate what Prabhupada said. The challenge is to balance fidelity with contextualization. We want to be sold out to Prabhupada while engaging our intelligence by taking his principles and applying them in a philosophical way. One senior leader of the movement, I asked him, I said, he had retired from his post, and I said, what's the most dangerous thing to Krishna consciousness? The number one danger, without thinking, he blurted out, Prabhupada says, in which we just do a battle of quotes with no context, no hermeneutics, no guru, shastra, sadhu. Prabhupada says, he said, that will destroy the movement. And you, Acharya, the foremost leader about how to, with great fidelity, understand what Prabhupada gave us, a hermeneutics. So many times you have challenged my comfortable yet myopic world by questioning customs, traditions, cultural biases, priorities. You have forced me to ponder and not let my intelligence atrophy in a comfort zone of anachronisms. So thank you for keeping Prabhupada's vision lively, relevant, and uplifting. And I might add to those who don't know, we are broadcasting this from, as you can see in back of me, the Bhaktivedanta Institute Krishna West House in Gainesville. And we have an extensive library, a piece of it's behind me. This used to be the president's house for the University of Florida, President Tigert, in the 40s. And then after that, Nehru recruited him to go to India and revive the educational system without the British. So that's a curious connection. So we're in this famous Tigert house. It's considered the crown jewel of the best neighborhood near the University of Florida campus. And it's due to your generosity, Acharya, that we're able to secure this house and actually have the Bhaktivedanta Institute have a place other than what it used to be my living room. And the result of this really was, the result of this is this week alone, as a typical week, I've had 3 PhDs reach out to me. What can I do to help? I mean, hardly keep up with it. And if we didn't have a headquarters and ability to focus, I don't think it would have happened. I'd also like to conclude by introducing and saying who's in the room. So we have over here Gauravani and Nanda, and we have Prabhupada Priya, Vani, and Nanda Nandana from here. And thank you very much. Jai, Acharya Dev, happy birthday. I thought when the Beatles song came out, When You're 64, I said, no one will ever be that old. I remember thinking that. I said, that's just too old. So now we'll have to change the tune a little bit.
Thank you. Brahmatirtha, I think everyone knows, is my official clone. And Rameshwar used to always call it my clone. And Brahmatirtha has really been rendering invaluable, sort of unique friendship and assistance since 1978, when we started working together. And whatever I've done, he was always there. He was always assisting. And not only that, he's become one of the most respected and valuable Brahmin advisors to the GBC, which is trying to lead ISKCON. And he's very highly regarded, seen as an invaluable advisor by the governing body of ISKCON. He revived the Bhaktivedanta Institute in a way that only he could. He has a unique ability to bring people together, and Prabhupada's very, very important Bhaktivedanta Institute, which was so important to Prabhupada, practically had vanished and just disintegrated into little pieces. And Brahmatirtha brought it all together and continues to lead it. So I'm grateful to him for many, many things.
Thank you.
So, Jenya, Leela, what happens now?
Hi, we're going to start the offerings by your disciples and well-wishers. And so up next, we have our dear Taruni Devidasi joining us all the way from Israel. Thank you very much, Taruni. Jai Charadev.
Hare Krishna, Charadev. Since we are really running late, I will be very, very brief.
Not too brief.
Well, we're really running late, so I already cut like 80% of my offering. Please accept my loving obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to Varshabhana Vidyavidasi and Gunavatar Das, who are my Shiksha Gurus. It's really an inspiration. You are an inspiration, we all know that, but for me, you are like Garuda. You know, you are doing all the heavy lifting, and I am just gliding on the wind, the merciful wind under your wings. It is by your mercy that I am teaching the Gita to an Israeli group and an international group. And it is a chance, because I know they are watching, to say that we will not accept anything less but pure devotional service, striving to create our Krishna consciousness up to the level of pure devotion, prema bhakti, not an inch less. And for that, we will work every day very hard. We will deal with all difficulties. We will get help from all your lectures, your books, your inspiration, your association, the association of other devotees here. But we are swimming for the gold medal. And since we are swimming for the gold medal, it takes courage, it takes determination, it takes intelligence, and it definitely takes consistency. And I learn all these qualities from you. And I can say that I fight for them every day, especially the sincerity. So thank you very much. It is my responsibility to make not only Krishna West successful in the Western world and everywhere else, it is my personal responsibility to build Vrindavan West. The sooner the better. Thank you so much. I love you. I wish you all the best. I offer my prayers for your health and well-being for eternity. Your servant, Taruni. Hare Krishna.
I have to say a word about Taruni. Taruni has achieved something which is very rare, not only in Krishna West, but in the Hare Krishna movement anywhere. And that is, she has a very successful preaching program. One of the best, it's on the top level in terms of Krishna West preaching programs or any preaching programs. She attracts people all around the world. And at the same time, she's probably materially the most successful devotee we have, in the sense that she is a famous doctor in Israel, medical doctor, and she travels to foreign countries to sign treaties between her country and other countries on behalf of Israel, even in the Middle East. So she's working at the top level in her country as you could say a medical ambassador, negotiator. At the same time, she has a fantastic preaching program. So we're all very grateful to Taruni, and she gives me very good advice. And yes, I think Taruni is showing an extraordinary example of what the Pandavas showed. In the Mahabharata, that was the whole point of Yudhishthira regaining the throne, to show that if you surrender to Krishna, you will be successful even in this world. And so I don't know anyone who's showing a better example of that. And so thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next, we will welcome Sarvatma Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. My obeisances. when I joined the movement in 1980, August 10th, that was a Sunday. At that time, we didn't have the Guru Yellow Pages. It was the world was divided differently, and I inherited my Gurudev. I never had a second thought that, oh, that other guru is more charismatic, or, you know, he is better at telling Leela, or he talks nicely to me. That would have been a point of contention, though. I was always very satisfied. And because I joined the movement to save the world, to help save the world. And I can see that Acharya has been trying his very best, successfully, I would say, to do that. And also, one can hear. I've been listening to lectures. Actually, I used to record his lectures on cassette tapes as I traveled with him for many years. And so I've been listening to his lectures for forever. And I still listen to his lectures. And any time that I have, I will listen to him speak, because I do learn every time that he speaks. I do learn something new, and because he has a brilliant mind, as Dr. Ted Patrick would say, he's a brilliance man, and he's the best preacher the movement has. He's the most I don't want to say the words avant-garde, but at the vanguard of preaching. He's always been at the edge, that things that were no-nos, things that were forbidden, like going to school. The Prabhupada mentioned that going to the school is a slaughterhouse, but Acharya put it in context and very clearly explained that an educated movement can only attract uneducated people. So he actually made the academic approach approachable. He introduced new concepts. Actually, he made the philosophy into a thinking man's philosophy. That is not just a dogma that we should all repeat without chewing, without digesting. So I'm grateful in so many ways. He's been taking care of me for so many years. I make so many blunders, so many mistakes. I've tried to do a little bit of what he asked me to do, sometimes with a little success, mostly unsuccessfully. And he hasn't rejected me yet. So I have to give him credit for that too, because it takes quite a bit of courage to keep me around. So I wish all the best. I wish happy birthday on your 34th birthday. I want to congratulate you and hope that you make it to 35. I've told you many times, I can't imagine the world without you. I think it will be a very sad day. It will be sad, not for just friends and disciples, but for anybody who actually can realize who you are, that you are always thinking, pushing forward Prabhupada's mission, and this Yasya Prasad, Bhagavat Prasado, this idea that one should only think of the order of a spiritual master. That has been your motto from day one. You've been trying to do what Prabhupada wanted. And first of all, you have to know who Prabhupada is. Know that Prabhupada is not just a mythical figure that gave a lot of quotes and every single quote was on the same level. You actually understood the essence of his teachings, all the universal teachings that were basic, fundamental, and you separated them, just like you are now separating the basic fundamental teachings of the Mahabharata from all the legends and folklore. So thank you for separating, for discriminating, because you have such sharp intelligence. Thank you for doing it for all of us. And I hope one day I'll be able to do a little bit of service to your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I'll just briefly mention that Sarvatma, I'm very pleased to say that he's become a highly respected preacher in many, certainly North America and in Europe and other places. And when he, for various reasons, was going to leave Santa Barbara, actually many places were trying to get him to come. And also Divyananda, his wife, it's a dynamic duo. And they're both excellent devotees, faithful devotees for a very long time. And it pleases me very much to see how highly regarded they are around the world as preachers and as devotees. So thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hey, Jai. So next we have Ramcharita joining us from Brazil.
Oh, that's me. Hare Krishna, Srila Deva. Please accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Well, first of all, I feel really honored to have this opportunity to speak here, speak some few words in honor of you, in the presence of so many special devotees, God brothers, God sisters, spiritual uncles. I won't say much. I actually wrote my offering. So really, I'm going to be very brief. Well, I decided to talk about something that is probably common knowledge, but which has played a very important role in my spiritual life over the years. To introduce it very simply, I would say that people in general, they expect two things when they decide to follow a spiritual path or a religious path. The first one is to have some kind of experience of the divine, which Lord Chaitanya mercifully gave to us through his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, through the chanting of his holy names. The second thing I would say people expect when they join a spiritual path is some kind of rational explanation of reality. This has also obviously been emphasized by Srila Prabhupada. Concepts such as reincarnation, karma, the fantastic idea of a personal, loving God who reciprocates and reveals himself directly to us are some of the explanatory elements that are part of our tradition. It seems to me to be consensual that Srila Prabhupada really wanted his movement to be able to present such a kind of rational, coherent, and persuasive worldview to society. However, often the explanatory elements of our tradition, which are capable of providing this rational theistic explanation, are sometimes not properly emphasized or are not entirely clear or are even mixed with elements of superstition. So, Charadeva, your qualities are innumerable. You are a perfect spiritual teacher, a perfect gentleman, a perfect example of a follower of Srila Prabhupada, a perfect friend, a loving spiritual father above all. I would like, however, to emphasize today one of those qualities, your example and tireless effort to present to us the rational theistic explanation of reality that we so badly need, that the world so badly needs. This ranges from your intellectually delightful classes, as well as all the theological and sociological analysis you have done to establish Krishna West, as well as the establishment of Krishna West itself. Also to your more recent efforts to establish a powerful and effective academic institute within ISKCON. Thank you very much for everything, Charadeva. Thank you for your friendship. I hope you'll keep tolerating me, tolerating my stubbornness, and accept the effective and insignificant service that I can offer to you. Hare Krishna, all glories to you, Charadeva.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I would just say that Ramcharita is very unusual in ISKCON in that he is a highly respected philosophy professor at a real university. And not only that, but he organizes international philosophy conferences with very famous and respected philosophers. And so really he's, I think, as much or more than anyone I know in ISKCON, actually promoting Krishna consciousness at a very high, respectable level of academic philosophy. He's just written a paper talking about the nature of Krishna, the nature of God in the Bhagavad Gita. It's he's very good because he always requires me to meet academic standards. And naturally in ISKCON, we don't want to bother with all that nonsense like meeting international standards. But so he's been very good. He's like he's helped me a lot to stay on the path in terms of academic philosophy. And we debate and we argue, but of course that's his service. And so he really is doing a very important service, not only for me, but for ISKCON. So thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Next, we welcome Ishana Prabhu in Orlando, Florida.
Jai Shri my humble obeisance.
Oi.
Oi. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale. Shrimati Hridan Das Goswami Tamini Namaste Guru Hansaya Paramananda Mirase. Prabhupada Pramodaya Dushta Siddhanta Nasini. After all those beautiful offerings, I don't know what to say. Just want to hear. But I would like to acknowledge that Mahavir is there. It's a pleasure for me because my first contact with Srila Charadeva was through Mahavira. And actually, he represented Srila Charadeva on my initiation day. Hare Krishna. I was saying...
Oops. Isso não dá para ouvir. Perdeu o som.
Oh, I touched the wrong button here. So, you saved my life so many times, I don't know how to begin explaining, but so many wonderful aspects of the relationship I have with you, I cherish so much. And the main one is to give for me and my wife. Unfortunately, she's not here. She had to travel with her mother. Is to give this opportunity for Krishna West. I've been reading, I read a quote from Bhaktivinoda Thakur explaining that if someone deviate, it being so stuck on the norm and criticize people that are trying to be more liberal, more elevated consciousness, and that would be a great disaster for Krishna consciousness. And the way you presented is so incredible, because I remember the first day that Chandramukha Swami was there with you, and then you have a video Zoom, and then you explain everything to us. It was like a turning point. It was really, really amazing. And not that day only, but after that, every single time I use all your elaborate explanations that my limited intelligence can grab. But it's really a blast to have you as my spiritual master. I have never doubted since the beginning. At the time in Brazil, and the historical conditions of the ISKCON, there was no option. In Brazil, Srila Charadeva is the guru. But since I've seen you in Nova Gokula, and then after incredibly fortunate to be connected with Mahavir, and he brought me, Bhakta Eugenio to talk with, Srila Charadeva. I never had a doubt, never ever again, and I will not have any doubts ever to this life, at least. And so thank you so much for everything. He said that the disciple cannot repay the guru, and that's true. So please accept our humble service here in Orlando, and I hope continue doing it till the day I'm gone. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Ishan is actually one of our valuable members of Krishna West, and he said that he has one of our best programs in North America, and he's been a very faithful disciple. He was president of ISKCON in Rio de Janeiro, and has always been a responsible, intelligent servant of Prabhupada's mission. So thank you. Can you pull that down? Thanks. Oh, no, pull it, just pull it, yeah.
Jai Srila Charidev. Okay, and next we have Prabhupada Priya from Gainesville, Florida.
Yes.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories
Sorry,
to
sorry
Srila-
for this very strange effulgence. We're trying to.
Uh,
1 second, I'll try to.
The zebra?
Yeah.
Things coming through.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, you're effulging very brightly today. Jai Srila Charidev. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine grace. So I have a written offering here, which I'm very happy to be able to read on this auspicious occasion. Because it's rare. Vyasa Puja events are so nice because we rarely get to really, directly express our appreciation like this. It's just really sweet, and I'm happy to have this opportunity to do so in your virtual presence. So, of course, there are many things that I appreciate about you, but for this offering, I'm going to focus on just one quality, and that is that you're very true to yourself. So, yeah, I just love how you just are who you are, and you do what you need to do in the service of Srila Prabhupada with total confidence. And then because you're not afraid of what other devotees think of your views or your lifestyle or your preaching strategies, then there's just nothing to hide, and so you can be totally genuine and transparent. And the reason I appreciate this so much is because many of us, on joining ISKCON, we tried so hard to fit into the pure devotee mold or the Vedic culture mold, at least, the way that it was presented to us, that in our sincere endeavors to become devotees, we lost touch with ourselves, which is ironic because it's supposed to be the science of self-realization. But for many of us, it actually involved, some degree of self-alienation. And I know this is true for myself, that for so many years, I was trying to be someone that I'm not in order to please certain devotees, thinking that this is what it means to surrender to Krishna. And it wasn't until I became your disciple more recently that I truly felt the freedom to be myself. And I feel like my devotional service has really taken off as a result of that. So I'm very grateful to you. Without your even saying anything, but just by seeing your example of being totally confident and comfortable in being oneself for Krishna, even if it ruffles a few feathers, others feel that they can do the same. Like it's allowed in Krishna consciousness. And it's very liberating. It's commendable how you encourage this, even to the extent that I remember a few years ago in San Diego, you were speaking to a group of disciples and acknowledging how your mood had changed over the decades. And you told some of your senior disciples at that time that, and I'm just paraphrasing here, if you feel that I'm not the same person that you took initiation from, then you have no obligation to follow me. You're free to take shelter and guidance elsewhere, and you have my blessings for that. You said this without a single ounce of spite or disappointment. Just the opposite, it was with deep empathy and compassion for your disciples. who were perhaps struggling and maybe feeling a little disconnected. This was totally consistent with your value of encouraging devotees to be individuals, to express their devotion to Krishna in their own way, even if it is not exactly consistent with your way. This, in my opinion, is real love. Totally selfless, simply concerned with helping your disciples be happy and secure and steady in Krishna consciousness. And it is also the essence of personalism. Krishna wants us to be individuals and serve him in our unique ways. That's why he made us that way. Your ability to be yourself and encourage others to do the same comes from your deep transcendental vision. Lacking this vision, some devotees question some of the ways you express yourself, which may to them look like Maya. I have also directly challenged you on some things. But knowing you a little better now, I have come to appreciate how, whether you're wearing sannyas clothes or sweatpants and a t-shirt, whether you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Jane Austen, eating Mahaprasadam from the deities or popcorn from the supermarket, dancing in kirtan or playing frisbee in the park, staying in a temple with devotees or alone in the hotel room in the middle of nowhere, you're equally, steadily, totally Krishna conscious. Your Krishna consciousness is not dependent on the external situation. This is a quality of Uttama Adhikari devotees, that in any situation they can be happy by dint of their own Krishna consciousness, because they see Krishna in everything and everything in relation to Krishna, and they see the whole world simply as paraphernalia to be used in Krishna's service. And what a wonderful way to see the world and to live in this world. Yet many devotees still misunderstand. On this note, recently I was scrolling through my Facebook page and someone had posted a nice picture of you. So I started reading what the person wrote. But it was sad because I could see quickly that their intention was to criticize you. And the criticism, this is what they said. The criticism was that you are a Vishayi. He used that word. At first, it was hurtful for me. But then I remembered the famous verse by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Upayunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchite. And I thought, so Anasaktasya Vishayan. Yes, the Vishayan, the sense objects may be there. So like we know that you always have a really nice place to stay and many of the comforts of the Vishayis. But anasaktasya, without attachment for your personal enjoyment. Rather, yatarham upayunjataha, you engage everything appropriately in Krishna's service. Because nirbandha Krishna sambandhe, you see them in relationship with Krishna. Therefore, although those sense objects might be a source of bondage for others, like the person who wrote that thing on Facebook, they are not for you. You can live amongst them, use them in Krishna's service, and remain completely renounced. And Rupa Goswami says, Yukta vairagyam uchite, that this is real renunciation. It's superior to just giving up things like the impersonalists do. That renunciation in bhakti is different, and you are a great example of that. Like this house that I'm sitting in right now in Gainesville, that you bought it with money, your own money, basically from your family, or that's what I heard. And, you know, you have the option of staying here in this beautiful place and living like a king in your castle and being served by your disciples. But you just came and visit for a few days and you left. And you're happy that the house is being used by other devotees to expand the BI and connect academic scholars to Krishna consciousness, which is something that Srila Prabhupada really wanted. You don't see it as your house. It's Krishna's house. It's meant for Krishna's service, for promoting Srila Prabhupada's mission. Which reminds me of a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, 3:30, where Krishna says, Nirashir nirmamo bhutva, without desire for profit and with no sense of ownership. Yudhyasva vigata jvaraha, fighting vigorously in devotional service. And you definitely have the Brahminical fighting spirit. And Mayi Sarvani Karmani, doing it all for Krishna. That Krishna says, Sannyasya Dhyatma Cetasa. This is a consciousness of a true sannyasi. So you are a real sannyasi, and the time has proven that this year we celebrated your 50th sannyasa anniversary, which in this day and age is extremely rare and an exceptional achievement. So congratulations. And this comes back to being oneself. Because when you're not attached to any external situation, when your Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any external situation, then you are also not limited by any external trappings. That means you have complete freedom to express yourself in any environment, through any medium, and utilize anything in Krishna's service in the way that you are personally inspired to do. And this is what they do in the spiritual world. This is the characteristic of devotional service of one on the liberated transcendental platform. As Rupa Goswami also says in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Iha yasya haryadasye karmana manasa gira nikilashvapyavastasu jivan mukta sa uchite. Anyone who, by his actions, mind, and words, lives only for the transcendental loving service of the Lord is certainly a liberated soul, even though he may appear to be in a condition of material existence. So, Srila Acharyadev, you are an inspiration for all of us. You're the perfect example of how to truly be oneself in devotional service, and by doing so, be totally blissful in Krishna consciousness. So, thank you for being you. Hare Krishna, your servant, Priya Devidasi.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting. Prabhupada Priya has, it's interesting because she was kind of in a dungeon of so-called traditional Vedic culture. And, horrible. And then somehow or other, because she's very intelligent, she actually turned down a scholarship at Harvard to join the Hare Krishna movement. And wow, so, and she's blossomed so much. She's become not only an invaluable member of the Gainesville community, but recognized nationally and even internationally. And so I think Prabhupada Priya Devi is one of the best examples I know that when Vaishnavis are allowed to follow Krishna's instructions, and because protecting Vaishnavis doesn't mean stopping them from actually following Krishna, who says we should also all serve according to our nature. And she's done so much extraordinary service and been so widely recognized for her service at the highest levels of ISKCON that, so I'm very proud of her. I think it's a great example. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Jai Jai.
Thank you. Next, we welcome Gauravani Prabhu, also in Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, Vishwakarma.
So Chadeva, please accept my humble obeisances. And I'd like to thank you for saving my life. That I know a few times. I'm not the one that type of person who, bothers, father or guru for any little things, but I had some serious issues in my life and you guided me correctly, and a few words would be enough for me. And so I came from a very religious family, my father, my mother. My father used to go to the church every day. He would go to the bakery to get the milk and bread and then stop at the church, and I would follow him. And so I developed that religiosity. I was Catholic, and but at the same time, I always had a question because my brain is a little bit, like science also, like to see things as, it is. And so I had the opportunity to meet you in Brazil in 1980, and specifically in the restaurant of Mahavira, who is a dear friend and dear, uncle in this movement and senior devotee. He always inspired me. And if a person is a cause for me, my inspiration in spiritual life, Mahavira is one of the few. And so then I met Acharyadeva at the restaurant. And I don't know if Acharyadeva know that, but I was the one who built the structure for your Vyasa-san. Mahavira covered with sateen cloth, white, but him is his wife. But I built the Vyasa-san with the scrap from a construction site. And that day, I watched your lecture, and at that time I became convinced that I have a hope to answer my questions here, because Acharyadeva would speak very clearly, very scientifically of religion and the purpose of human being and human life, and so I became captivated by that. And so I started visiting Antardans and Mahavira's place program, and then I went to Nava Gokula, and for a couple of years I was following all the principles to be initiated. And in 1983 I was initiated by Acharyadeva, and I had no doubt, not for a minute in my life, I have no doubt that he was a genuine guru and the person who I should follow for the rest of my entire life. And because I believe that the spiritual master needs to be taken seriously. It's not just a regular friend or acquaintance. It's a person who represents God, and if whatever he says is God saying, and I always trust and believe that. And so for many times in my life, I was in a like a sad moment, trying to figure out where happiness was. And then I would watch Acharyadeva's lecture, and immediately that cloud of sadness would go away, and I would again enthusiastic doing my service. I had the opportunity to, I'm lucky because Acharyadeva was the only guru in Brazil at that time. That I know, and they're perfect for me. So my mind would not speculate anything. That's the guru that I have to follow, and I'm happy that I'm loyal to you to this day. And so now I'm here in America after being trained in Brazil, and I would watch listen to your lectures, many times a day. I would sleep with your lecture in my ear until I sleep, and that was, I can't deny that you had a very, very deep influence in my life. Even though I'm a sinful person, but I try, sincerely to follow your instructions. And now I'm here in America, and you gave me support all the time. When I moved from New Jersey to Alatra, you were the one that gave me the right guidance, and I followed, and I was happy. And now I have the opportunity to work in this project, and it's not directly connected to the BI purpose, but it's a construction. But I hope that one day, when the construction is done, I'm going to engage in some service directly to the Bhaktivedanta Institute. Whatever you think I'm able to carry on, I'll be there to do that. So I was gonna, I started writing a offering, but then Lila said, "No, you have 3 minutes," and then I gave up. I'm just saying what I just said, and so thank you very much for your support and your guidance, and for carrying over this mission in life of Lord Chaitanya by following Prabhupada, following Srila Prabhupada perfectly. And that is very important for me. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Gauravani. Gauravani, as everyone knows, is just doing amazing service in the BI house, and without him, I would be probably camping out in Brahmatirtha's living room or something. But so yes, we were very grateful to Gauravani, and he was a temple president in Brasilia. I visited there. I still remember. He was a very good temple president with complete integrity and devotion. So I still remember those festivals when I went to Brasilia, and Gauravani he's always been a very serious, very devoted, very valuable member of Prabhupada's mission. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Gauravani. Jai, thank you very much, Gauravani. And now we have Nandanandana Devidasi also.
Nanda.
Oh, is that?
Of course.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Krishna Shakti is next. Krishna Shakti is also in Gainesville, Florida. Well,
Yes,
go ahead, Krishna.
Before Krishna Shakti goes, can I say something? I just got a note from Rameshwar. All my sincere eternal love and gratitude, acknowledgement, and eternal friendship. His glorious service, how dear he is to Prabhupada. I can go on for the entire emotional day. And I'll add, could you share these feelings with him privately so he knows how much he is loved? So nobody else listen. And that's from Rameshwar.
Rameshwara was, especially when Prabhupada was here, and even after, was the best leader of book distribution probably in the history of ISKCON. He was the BBT trustee in North America. He was the GBC also for his area. And he did more to distribute Prabhupada's books in English than any other devotee in the history of ISKCON. So, and we also play tricks on each other. And also when I began the Spanish BBT, I really began the Spanish BBT in LA. He was very generous and gave me all facility because English BBT was there. And so he was the best friend of the Spanish BBT actually. And then we did the Portuguese BBT. So my thanks to him. Krishna Shakti.
One more. Advaita Prabhu sends his pranams. Tell him to hang in there until you reach either 108 years of age or, not appropriate, 108 offsprings as per a ritualistic Indian blessing, whichever you, I know we should. So that's from Advaita.
Advaita Prabhu is probably the most successful and internationally respected Gaudiya Vaishnava Indologist in modern history. So he's written books that are very influential and also he made an extraordinary contribution of his library. What was the value of his library that he gave Brahmatirtha? What was it valued at?
Everything he gave is somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000 worth.
Yes, so please tell him that I'm very, very grateful for his words. And then I think I'll go with the first blessing, not the 108 kids. No.
Do that.
Yeah.
The library behind me is that library, a part of it.
Thank you.
Just Acharyadev, if you can stand for 5 minutes while
Yes.
listening, because it's already 2 hours.
Taruni is my doctor also, disciple and doctor. So yes, I'm listening. So Krishna Shakti.
Jai Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Hridayananda Goswami Tinamine Namaste Guru Hamsaya Paramananda Medase Prabhupada Pramodaya Dushta Siddhanta Nashine. Jai Acharyadev. First of all, I am in San Francisco, California, visiting my son who asked for your blessings today. I also would like to thank Leela for inviting me to speak a few words in your honor. It is really an honor for me to be able to be here with my God brothers and God sisters and sharing stories of your successful preaching and ideas and inspiration with this beautiful, beautiful spiritual family that you created for all of us. Thank you for that. I actually, since I was a teenager, I was looking for a guru, and I was planning on traveling and doing all that when I entered a Hare Krishna temple, and that was before the Guru reform. And I saw your picture on your Vyasasana, and I looked at you, and just according to what's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita and by other previous acharyas, in my heart, I felt that I had found my guru, and that was you. So I didn't know about any system or zone or anything. I just knew that you were my guru. And I started then wrapping up my business because I started feeling detachment of anything else aside from serving you. And I joined a temple in Rio along with Ishana, my very dear God brother. We competed very harshly, stealing buzzes from each other, distributing your books. Certainly your books were my favorite.
She's being very gentle. She's being very gentle. I was a schmuck.
It was a very transcendental competition, and I'm very thankful for having the opportunity of distributing your books all over Brazil. Through the Sankirtan movement, I was able to get to know different cultures within my country and to connect with people in such unique ways. And that I didn't know at that time, but that created the foundation of the work that I do today, which is mostly social service, social work. So I thank you for that. I thank you for your constant inspiration, for guiding me not only in my spiritual life, but also in I'm thankful for my academic life. When I came here, you told me, you didn't ask me, you told me, yeah, you're going to Berkeley. And I'm like, I am? Like, how? But you just told me, and I thought, well, he told me I have to do that. So really by your potency, because you call me Krishna potency, and I keep saying the potency comes from you. I have none. I am just happy to be your servant, to be the bridge between you and anything else that you want to create. So thank you so much, Acharyadev, for giving me the opportunity to serve you. And please give me your Shaktipat so I can develop prema for the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Shakti has always been an exceptional devotee. I always tell the story because it's such an amazing story. I'll tell very quickly that when she was a champion in Brazil. She was one of our leading book distributors, both in the South and also in Northeast Brazil, which is a special place. And just to give one example, there's some remote regions up in North Brazil, like Roraima and Acre, just these little states that sort of on the edges of the Amazon jungle where, even for Brazilians, it's a very exotic place to go. And so there's no transportation. A lot of times there was no, and so she would actually talk her way onto Air Force jets and Air Force planes and she would like hitch a ride on Air Force plane. She would go to an Air Force base that was where they were flying to one of these remote places and talk her way onto the plane and go and sell Prabhupada's books. And yeah, Krishna Shakti is very intelligent, very reliable. I depend on her for different important services, and I'm very grateful at Krishna Center.
Thank you. Next, we have Nandana Devi in Gainesville, Florida.
Uh-oh. Oh, sound? Is sound on?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. No, yeah. Hare Krishna, Srila Charidev Jai. Please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and to your divine grace. It's just so nice to hear everything that everyone's sharing. It's all the same sentiments that I'm feeling. So I don't want to be too repetitive, but just hearing everybody speak, it's just bringing back all kinds of memories over the years. When I used to, whenever I lived outside the ashram and I had a job, whatever vacation time I got, I would come and see you. And those were my favorite vacations because it's like one step above a vacation. You get time off, but then you have this it felt like, it's just like Prabhupada Priya was saying, no matter where you were, it didn't matter, a big house, a small apartment, it was like the spiritual world. It's like we came to spend time in the spiritual world with you. And those are my best memories in my spiritual life. So I was thinking, even some people were saying that in their times of distress, just hearing your classes brought them out of that cloud. So I've had that also, that's another one of my favorite things is I can listen to the same class over and over. I mean, there's so many to choose from, but it's like, which one do I want to listen to again today? Or what's the new one I can find? So just hearing those again, it always lifts me out of whatever funk I'm in. And even when I'm not in a funk, obviously, it's just what I choose to do with my free time is listen to your classes. So, and it's always surprising to me that, well, okay, what I was thinking earlier was that there are many people in this world who are very brilliant or very intelligent, and but you can't understand a word they're saying. So it's almost as though, what is the use of their intelligence, at least for those of us who aren't at their level? We can't really understand what they're saying. But your genius is that you can be so brilliant and explain it in a way that the rest of us can understand. And so that's the genius, is that it always brings it down to this level that you have these, because I did I was your secretary for some years doing your emails, and I would read the emails and then your answer was one or two sentences, but summed it all up into this, like, these just distinct instructions, or it gave clarity to what they were asking or what they were saying. And I've also experienced the same thing. So when I convey that to others, when I'm giving class or when I'm having philosophical discussions with others, and I just, of course, repeat what you say, people are always so surprised. It's, wow, what a way to put it. And I said, yeah, you should listen to his classes. So always direct people to your website. It's like, just listen to his classes. And it's surprising to me how people have been practicing for years and they haven't heard it explained so well, or that it's so enlightening to them. So thank you for bringing your genius down to our level so we can actually understand it and apply it in our lives and share it with others. And just again, for your generosity, allowing us to come and visit and serve you and tolerating us in your invading your space. Krishna Priya and I are always joking about that. We come and we invade your space, but just for us, it's just such happiness to come and serve and be in your presence. And when we can't be in your presence, to hear your classes and share that knowledge with others. And just, it's so enlivening to teach others what I've learned from you and to apply it into my own life. So there's so many things I can say, but I know that we're running late, and I just want to keep it somewhat brief. But thank you for all of your, just to me, you feel like an anchor in Krishna consciousness, that when I'm in situations where things seem a little odd, or people are being ritualistic, or people are being dogmatic, I know you're the anchor there. That's just to say, no, just let's bring it back down to earth. Let's be practical. Let's just, let's have fun in Krishna consciousness, and at the same time make advancement and do our service and our mission to Prabhupada. And I remember you always saying Prabhupada was always on mission, no matter where he went, no matter where he spoke, no matter who he was speaking to. So I feel the same about you. You're always on mission, which is Prabhupada's mission. And so that keeps me grounded in that mission and in Prabhupada's mission. So anyways, thank you for everything, and happy Eastern Vyasa Puja Day, Eastern birthday. And then we'll have her, it's nice we get to say happy birthday twice in a year. So happy birthday and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, I'd like to thank Nanda. We got to know each other in, I think when I was at Harvard, right?
Yes, yeah. You were in Boston, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Harvard, and Nanda was always in the best Krishna conscious sense, a lot of fun, and never had to like get her over that hump of on reverence. And yeah, we always had a great time together in Krishna consciousness. We still do. And she's always done outstanding service. Now in Gainesville, of course, for several years. And yeah, so she's a real joy for me, Nanda. And I wish I had more time. We would spend more time together. Hare Krishna. Haruni, am I allowed to sit down yet? Okay.
Thank you, Nanda. Next, we have Leela Devi in Gainesville, Florida.
Leela Devi, that sounds familiar.
Jaya Charity. Special thanks to Jenya Devi for helping host, and for Taruni for reminding Acharya to stand up. Thank you so much. We're all going to follow Taruni's example and keep a time log of how long you're sitting when you speak. Thank you, Acharya, for allowing us to express for you. I'll keep it short. Dear Acharyadeva, please accept my most respectful obeisances. There are no words that I can string together to express the affection, admiration, and gratitude that I have for you. To come into contact with a devotee of Krishna such as yourself is no small or ordinary thing, and I hope that I can live up to such an undeserved opportunity. I thank you deeply for all that you are and give to me and the rest of our God family. If it weren't enough that you guide and support your disciples' spiritual lives, you go above and beyond that call of duty and offer us parental affection, friendship, and true mercy and compassion. You have even taken the time to counsel me on practical matters such as encouraging my education, helping me chart a way forward academically so that my whole life can be an offering back to you and Sri Krishna. You're personally invested in the spiritual growth and success of your disciples and give direction to us in how to reach for greatness in our service and devotion to Srila Prabhupada. If there is ever a question of how to serve the spiritual master and how to live Krishna consciousness, I just need to look to you and how you dedicate your whole being and entire life to your own spiritual master. By your teachings and words, you continue to break down misconceptions, correct misguided ideas, and give clarity in a very bewildered world where it is difficult to make sense of anything. And ultimately, you're helping fulfill Srila Prabhupada's mission of destroying corrupt philosophies. By your personal example, you give direction in how we can help change the world we inhabit in the mood of Lord Chaitanya by opening our minds, challenging our beliefs, and encouraging us to think beyond what we think we know. You're an embodiment of courage, steadfastness, dedication, transcendental and contagious joy, and you never stop looking for ways in which to fulfill the desires of your spiritual master. My prayers for you are that Krishna continue to empower you in the work that you have dedicated your whole life to, promoting Srila Prabhupada's movement with reason, intelligence, and selfless dedication. You always tell us to pray for Krishna to empower us. And so the rest of my prayers are for all of your disciples and supporters, and for myself, that Krishna may empower us to follow your lead, to use our Krishna-given gifts to make a reality of your vision for a powerful Krishna consciousness movement in the West that will please you, please Srila Prabhupada, and all the acharyas in our parampara. And I especially want to thank you for the moments that that you share your joy through humor. The times that we just spend so much time laughing. I think maybe 25% of our talks of getting down to business is like preliminary 75% of laughing. But and it seems like a small thing, but you have no idea how much that affects the consciousness. And it's just a joy that is contagious, it's transcendental, and it really helps the mind remember what it is that is important, and that is a joyful engagement in Krishna consciousness. So I thank you so much for that. Thank you for all your support. I love you very much. Happy Appearance Day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I say a word about Leela. And Superman was, of course, disguised as Clark Kent. Kind of looked the same, just put some glasses on. So, so Leela, I feel that her Clark Kent identity was as a New Jersey housewife. And she came down to Florida and has manifested as an extraordinarily invaluable, talented, intelligent servant for the BI. No one wants to think what the BI would be like without Leela, plus she's everyone is so fond of her because she's just such a good person. And so thank you, Leela, for all that you do. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Charidev. Thank you. So up next, we have our dear Shamala Kishori from Gainesville, Florida. She's going to just speak a short offering, and then our closing kirtan will be led by her.
Good old Shamala.
Hare Krishna.
Hey, Shamala.
Nice to see you. Happy Appearance Day. I jotted down a few notes here. I was thinking how I was trying to remember the first time I met you, and I believe it was at a visit that you took to our Gurukul in North Carolina when I was a kid.
How old were you?
Maybe 12 or maybe younger. I don't remember. Probably younger. And you were telling jokes to the children, and it was just such a joy. You brought in that light and that like sunshine into our somewhat dreary days. So I wanted to tell you that, and I've shared this with you before, but about 15 years ago, I started to have some inability to relate to cultural components of Krishna consciousness. And it created a lot of distress in my mind. I started feeling a bit out of place. And I also had some trouble digesting things in the passages of scripture and so on. And at that time, you were spending time in North Carolina, and your presence really helped me strengthen my faith. And there were times when I had doubts, and then I would think, oh, Priyananda Das Goswami is part of this philosophy and this practice, so it must have credibility to it. And I would actually like just knowing that you had fully taken shelter in this practice of Krishna consciousness gave me faith in my journey. And of course, all the conversations we've had has helped me like understand the difference between the essential components of Krishna consciousness and the details that can be changed according to time, place, and circumstance. And on a personal note, I'm very, I feel just very grateful for all the kindness and affection that you have showered on me over the years. And, you know, I always enjoy our conversations. I always feel very enlivened after. And I feel grateful for the ways that you have given me service for your writing, like sometimes sharing the preliminary drafts with me and so on. And it feels like such an honor. And basically, I feel like this world is just a happier place with you in it. I've shared with you before that I have anticipatory separation, but we've talked about that before, and it's been very comforting. So, long story short, thank you for allowing me to be part of your cohort, and I please bless me that I can follow in your footsteps and find relevant ways to share Krishna with others.
Shamala is actually I was friends with her father before she was born. Her father, Baju Gopal, was the president in ISKCON Cleveland. And so in 1972, I think I visited Cleveland and we hit it off. And of course, she has a sister and a mother. And so to me, Shamala has always been sort of like the image of a Vaishnavi Brahmani. And I should reveal or confess that she helped me greatly in finishing the Justin Davis book, because I always trusted her intelligence. I really have always seen her as a real Brahmani. And so I sent her a draft of Justin Davis, and she made a few highly pertinent, not impertinent, but pertinent remarks about the character of Devi. And you know, Krishna can speak in many places. And so when she wrote me back her comments, I knew that she had made a very important critique. And so I went back to the workshops. And I think the book is much better because of her critique. So yeah, she's of course a Guru Guli and along with her sister. And yeah, I've always thought highly of her, and I'm grateful for your word. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Don't go far, Krishna. Okay.
Okay, Acharya Dev, thank you very much. We're going to do a final offering of, oh yes, after you speak. Well, should we do that first or? Okay, okay, Acharya Dev. Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
Well, I've always appreciated myself, and oh, I see. I'm not making an offering, right? So, I'm just very grateful. Prabhupada used to always say that he took sannyas, and he had a family, some kids, and he said, "The Krishna's given me hundreds and hundreds of spiritual children who are better than he ever could have had," and so. I'm just very grateful to Krishna. I am just the 20-year-old kid that wandered into the Hare Krishna temple in Berkeley. And Prabhupada literally came to Berkeley to save me. I attended his lecture. And one thing, I had this powerful realization. I'd been in the temple about like 1 or 2 days. And we had a morning program started at 7 o'clock then. And because we stay out till midnight selling incense and magazines. And so I think it was actually my first day. The first night I slept over in the temple. And then after the morning program, everyone would go to clean the temple. And because I just joined, they let me take a free day. You know, they didn't give me an assignment in the temple cleaning. And I was just sitting there, and I had this powerful, powerful realization, which is very simple, that I'm not the enjoyer, I'm meant to serve. And Berkeley in 1969 was one of the world headquarters of hedonism. You know, I mean, it's just that was life. Life meant simply trying to enjoy as much as you could. And Krishna gave me this powerful realization that actually we're meant to serve. It's like I was going completely in the wrong direction. And so now I'm very grateful. I remember when I started Krishna West, for the first month or two, the total membership was 1. It was me. I was actually the first few months the only member of Krishna West in the world. And so I'm very grateful. I don't, somehow or other, because I spent years, I mean, I still do, sort of living by myself and doing the laundry and shopping and everything, which is really nice and empowering. So what Krishna's taught me is not to take for granted the help and the devotion of other devotees. It's just something I learned. I'm just going to put it on the gallery view because I don't want to see a big picture of myself. But I just, because when I was young, everything happened so fast. I mean, when I was 25 years old, Prabhupada called me to his room and put me in charge of 20 countries when I was 25. And even when I took sannyas at the age of 23, I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that I was a prominent sannyasi at least 6 or 7 years before my brain was fully formed. And so that's kind of a joke at my expense because, you know, the male brain is. So I took sannyas at the age of 23, at the age of 25 GBC, at the age of 29, I became a guru. I was 29 years old. I'd been 8 years in the movement. And everything was just going so quickly that it just became, not that I took it for granted, but it just seemed the natural way of things that, you know, I was supposed to be a leader and other people were supposed to do what I said. And, you know, and civilization kind of depended on that because it's kind of like, you know, Prabhupada had left and we were sort of trying to hold up ISKCON. Of course, it was really Krishna, but, and I was young. I mean, I was young and everything happened so quickly. And then other things happened and I found a type of refuge just in sequestering myself with Krishna. And because of various things that happened in ISKCON, and because I lived for the last 22 years, really, 22 years, most of the time, I've just taken care of myself. I mean, obviously, Krishna takes care of us, but one powerful effect of that is that I've learned to be profoundly grateful to all the people that are helping me. And it's not that, I mean, I really don't feel that, well, it's your duty, you have to help me because otherwise you're offending the guru and blah, blah, blah. I really don't see it that way. I really see it that everyone around me has free will. They're making free choices. And the fact that some great souls, some very, very sincere and intelligent servants of Krishna feel inspired to somehow work with me and assist me is something I don't take for granted and I feel very grateful for. And it kind of surprised me because I naturally having to live with myself 24/7, I may not have the same exalted view of myself as other people do, but I am really very grateful. I am very grateful, and I take it as a great mercy. And the fact that, I mean, listening to what devotees were saying, I can only explain it to myself by seeing that it's Krishna in the hearts of these devotees, that somehow Krishna is inspiring people to see me in a certain way. And so that's what I feel more than anything, I would say, is gratitude. Gratitude to Krishna, of course, to Prabhupada, and gratitude to all of you for your voluntary service, something that Prabhupada always emphasized, that he would say, I'm not paying you, you're actually serving voluntarily. And so my gratitude, and of course, the God brothers, Amarendra and Balavanta and good old Mahavir here. Three of my dearest God brothers who really we spent our lives together. And so so thank you all very much. And I mean that very sincerely. Hare Krishna. So even the Master of Ceremonies is stunned, or?
Next, we have Kirtan from Shamala Devi.
Oh, Shamala. Hare Krishna.
We thought it would be nice to sing the English rendition that Kalakanta Das wrote to the Damodarastakam. And as you know, he's a great poet. So we're gonna sing this together and we will share it on the screen for you to see. Maybe just scroll in a bit and make it bigger. Okay. If not, it's okay. I think it's there.
Is it possible to make it a little bigger? Oh, there we go. That's good.
Okay, so this is written by His Grace Kalakanta Prabhu at Christian House. And we sing it there every morning. So we'll say it. We can do it together. After we steal butter, your earrings dance and shine. As you flee your mother in Gokula pastimes. Though you are all blissful, all knowing ever. Greatest of controllers, your mother controls you. She shows you the stick and she binds you by the waist. You shudder and sob and your necklace of pearls shakes. As you rub your frightened eyes, tears roll down your face. Ropes of her love bind you in your mother's embrace. Relishing your childhood activities like this. You plunge your devotees in deep oceans of bliss. Though many rebuke you, I love you are subdued. Again and again, Lord, I bow down before you. Although you give freedom, I don't ask to be free. Nor do I want anything you could offer me. I only request that your sweet childhood pastimes ever be enacted in my heart, in my mind. Curly hair circles your face a blackish blue. Kisses make your cheeks red. Is ripe in the fruit. Make the sublime vision be all that I can see. Any other treasure has no value to me. Dharma, be pleased with us, sunk in oceans of despair. Uplift and be with glances from your eyes. Shower your passion like rainfall from the sky. Two sons of Kubera were cursed to stand as trees. You gave them the chance to become your devotees. My Lord, will you offer the same blessings to me? I don't want to merge with your identity. All the universe is found. Your mother's physical gentle past your belly bound. I vow to you, Radha, your most dear, and those times in which you appear. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Srila Charidev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.
The chats and that words.
We have them.
Okay, well, thank you all very much. This concludes our Vyasa Puja offering for our dear Srila Charyadev. Thank you very much for everyone's patience, as of course the mandatory things had to go wrong and the mandatory glitches had to be there. Otherwise, it's not a purifying event. And then half the fun is gone. So thank you all very much. I very much appreciate you. Please excuse any offenses, any mistakes that we've made. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all next year.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Charidev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ibo.
All glories to the assembled devotees.